morning, Indigo. How are you? Are we ready for Tuesday? Good morning, guys. Welcome in. Welcome to my morning live. My morning live is all about motivation. I'm doing good. Hey, Michelle. We're discussing You Are a Badass. We are almost done with this book. I go through a chapter or two. I usually read it out loud. We do have a morning meditation that we do. It's just 5 minutes. We take time and, just kind of regroup, recenter, release some stresses that we're experiencing, just to kind of get in a good, fresh perspective point of it's coffee hasn't hit yet. Excuse my lack of proper sentences. How are you doing this morning, Michelle? How are you feeling? Oh, thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. I do not do yes/no questions in the morning. Those are for my evening streams. You're pretty down today. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to bring you back up. Do you want me? Here, I'll light you another candle, honey. Let's see if that helps you at all. Mornings are hard. Thanks for beating the Ravens. Steelers beat the Ravens last night, I take it? Is that who played last night? I saw something on Facebook. I don't watch football anymore. I saw Pittsburgh Dad said 3-2-1 bedtime. No, 3-2-1 win bedtime. Wow, my green walls are really giving me this green tinge. I'm just waiting to see if Brittany, I don't know if Lindsay will be in, but Brittany might be in. I don't know if she's awake yet, though. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving break. I know I wasn't on after Thanksgiving. I don't do any yes/no questions in the morning, but I do them in the evening. That's all in my evening streams. This is all about motivation, and this stream is how you can create what you really want. So those questions that you asked me in the evening, this is how you get what you want. So this is, to me, a more important live. But that's me. This is kind of like my Monday, so forgive me if I'm a little slow in the morning today. My kids just went back to school today, so after a break. Which I was really surprised I had them out the door before they normally would be. My daughter's good. My son's the straggler, but he was good. And for those who don't know, who might be new to me, again, my name is Marci. I am a coach, mentor. I teach manifestation. I also am a tarot reader. And basically, I use the tarot to kind of show you where you are, and then I can help you get on the path that you are to your true desires. So I do offer personal coaching. I offer personal readings in different capacities. So if that's something you're interested in, my email is in my profile. You can email me, you can message me. I have a Discord channel I am starting. It is, pretty fresh and green, but we are building it up. There's going to be a lot of things added over the next couple of weeks. A huge launch coming at the beginning of the year that I'm not going to give too much on. So everything is starting to grow and expand. So it's definitely something, if you're really interested on creating the life that you want, this is the place to be. Joining our communities, whether it's on Facebook or Discord, and, checking in with us. We have each other's backs. We're going to keep you on track. We're going to keep you moving towards what you truly want. Yeah, it was a good thing this morning having them out the door, especially my son. But, because I think he was still up at like 12:30 last night. I'm like, dude, you need to go to bed. Back to school tomorrow. Move this. So that way nobody thinks I'm doing readings. Not that I still don't get questions, but I don't answer yes nos in the morning, honey. Okay, see, Brittany's awake, so I'm gonna give it a few minutes and see if she makes it in. That way, unless, well, I'm gonna give her a few minutes anyways. But if somebody, Indigo or Michelle, if you're gonna be here for a little bit, when we go to do the meditation, if one of you could, if Brittany's not in here, just type up that we're in a meditation. We'll be back as soon as it's over. So she just messaged, but I don't know if she's stopping in. There she is. Good morning, Brittany. Tell her we need her here, right? I was like, I don't know if Brittany's awake. I was like, and then I started getting the dings. I'm like, okay, she's awake. We'll give it a few minutes to see if she comes in. I was like, otherwise somebody else is going to have to like handle the making a comment about we're in meditation type thing. I figured you just did. Hello, Loretta. How are you? Thank you for the follow. And thank you for sharing the live. Okay, we are gonna get ready to do, every morning before we get into the book, we do a 5-minute meditation just to kind of clear out everything bring us back to center. You can sit with your eyes closed. You can keep them open. It doesn't matter what. The biggest thing I want you to focus on is your breath. Take some deep breaths in, and that's going to help keep you focused. And because thoughts are going to want to come through, we want to just let them roll through. We don't want to give them any attention. And if you feel yourself getting pulled to certain thoughts, again, just focus back on the breath. So I'm going to get my timer up. Thanks for the tea. I was looking for a coffee, and then I saw that one. I was like, oh, we'll put that up. Why not? All right. Where did my clock come up? All right. If you would, Brittany, go ahead and put the little comment up, disclaimer that we are in meditation. It is close enough. And we'll get started once I see you pop that up. Can everybody hear the music? Turn it up a little bit. And I apologize once the timer goes off because it will pull you right out of your meditation. All right, here we go. How was how was that for everybody? Hey, Vanessa, how are you? Good morning, everybody. I feel like this is going to be super loud, and I hope it's not the case. Good morning. No need to be sorry. I'm not feeling cold, no. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome into the morning live. If you didn't get a chance to see, we were in a 5-minute meditation this morning. We do this every morning when we start. In the mornings, we discuss different books. We've been on You Are a Badass for this month. We are almost done with it. I do read at least a chapter a day with you guys. Yes, definitely coffee. Coffee. And we kind of discuss it. We do a takeaway, and we apply what we learn. So there's usually something that I have you guys do throughout the day. It's on you. This is the honor system, you know, whether it's like checking where your thoughts are or whatever comes up through the chapters. And yeah, so that's what we do here in the mornings. And again, my name is Marci. For those just joining us, I am a manifestation coach, tarot reader, friend, spiritualist, whatever you want to call me. So if you are interested in private coaching, I do offer that. I do offer private readings with tarot, and my evening streams are completely committed to like my yes no questions and my tarot readings. The morning lives are about learning and applying and creating the life that you want. Good morning, Amanda. How are you, sweetheart? Does anybody have any questions before I get started on this? Or have anything to input before I get started on this chapter today? I almost said this day's chapter. I totally get that, Brittany. I understand. With your schedule, I understand. Today's chapter is called The Drama of Overwhelm. It's the best audiobook of experience you could ever want. Aw, that's awesome. Thanks, Indigo. Yeah, the one day. Someday in one day, yeah. Yeah, last night's evening stream was definitely interesting in many different ways. So, but yeah, I think noticing where we continue to say one day and someday keeps putting it off instead of knowing that it's happening, that it's happened, that we have it. So that's an awesome notice for you, Brittany. And I think a lot of people don't catch on to that. So, so I think that's beautiful. I think that's fabulous. And also, for those who don't know, I download these morning lives every day and I upload them to my YouTube channel, and I believe that is also in my profile. But I'm at The Loving Rebel on YouTube. So if you do happen to miss a morning live and you want to catch up, I will have them uploaded usually by noon or shortly thereafter. So, all right, so I'm going to get started. Again, the chapter is called The Drama of Overwhelm, and we start off with the quote from Mark Twain. I have lived a long life and had many troubles, most of which never happened. Yeah, I like that it's available that way too. In case, I mean, I know only the people here who really are interested are going to go there and watch it. Somebody coming and seeing my video would probably be like, what the heck's going on, right? But I wanted to make that available to you guys. So I do download them the same day usually and have it uploaded. All right. When I set out to write a new book, I find it very helpful to start with a separate index card for each chapter. I put the chapter title at the top of each card, write my notes in the space underneath, and then spread them all out on a table so I can see the whole thing at once. Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, I'll put it in my link tree. Thank you, Brittany. I just did this a few days ago and I was so excited. Behold, my glorious new book. About 2 seconds later, however, I was seized by panic. Oh my God, that's a lot of chapters. How the hell am I going to get it all done in time? My deadline is speeding around the corner and I'm not even entirely sure what I'm putting in each section. Yet, what was I thinking? How come I didn't start this 8 months ago? Is it too early for wine? Someone help me. I am sinking. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Just do one chapter at a time. So I pulled a random card off the table, opened my eyes, and it was, of course, The Drama of Overwhelm. I'd like to remind you and me that the majority of the pain and suffering in our lives is caused by the unnecessary drama that we create. I feel that about a project already. Yeah. If we happen to find ourselves, for example, in a catatonic state of overwhelm, hugging our knees while rocking back and forth with our mouths hanging open, just like everything else in our lives, all it takes is a shift in perception to create a new reality. Life is but a dream. Don't turn it into a nightmare. And I talk a lot about this where we will go down that spiral, thinking of one thing that could go wrong, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're frozen. We're not moving. We're not doing what we want to do because we're afraid of failure or whatever, because we've spiraled. It just takes one step. One step. A baby step. Baby step if you must, but take that step. We are so unbelievably blessed to have all the things we have. All the opportunities and ideas and people and tasks and interests and experiences and responsibilities. Choosing to freak out about it all rather than enjoying the living of our lives is like throwing pearls before swine. Such a waste of such a glorious gift. Once we think of that one thing, we think of the domino effect. Yes, exactly. In the interest of helping you get a more pleasant perspective on your massive to-do list, let's take the 3 most common complaints about overwhelm and pretty them up. And there's M&M. There's not enough time. That's number 1. Number 1, there's not enough time. Thanks to hard work of people with big brains, we now know that time is an illusion. While most people have no idea what the hell that means, there's another angle that's a lot easier to grasp. And we get to put glitter on them. Exactly. Not having time is an illusion. For example, I don't have time to find a real parking spot, so I'll park in this loading zone. Oh, look at that. I just spent 3 hours I don't have getting my car out of the tow garage. Another 2 getting lost on the way home. and 45 minutes complaining about it to my wife. I don't have time to clean my office. Oh, look at that. I just spent half an hour that I don't have looking for my phone that was buried beneath a pile of crap. Oh, and look at that. My phone is dead, which means I'm about to waste even more time I don't have looking for the damn charger, which might be under this pile of books over here. Please, I hope. When we're forced to do something, suddenly the time is there, which means it's there all the time, but we've just chosen to limit ourselves by believing that it isn't. Ever notice how if you got 6 months to do something, it'll take you 6 months to do it, but if you have a week, it'll take you a week? Once you understand that time, like the rest of your reality, is in your mind, you can make it work for you instead of being its slave. Here are some things you can do right now to start wrangling time into submission. Excuse me. Show some respect. If you want more time in your life, show time some respect. If you're constantly late, if you blow things off, or if you're a flake, you're not sending a message to the universe or others or yourself that you value the precious time that you crave and are trying to create more of it for yourself. You can create anything you desire, but you have to truly want it. If you act like time isn't important, then it's fully worth wasting and disrespecting. You're not in alignment with what you say you want, so you're going to have a hard time getting it. I mean, think of time as a person. Would you expect time to keep showing up for you if you constantly treated it like it was some dumb thing that didn't matter? I should think not. Good morning, Lindsay. If you're always late, start being early. If you're constantly cancel or flake or forget your dates with people, get it together. Write down your appointments and keep them. Set your alarm on your cell phone to remind you to get ready early. Write things on the back of your hands. Keep your word if you say you're going to do something. It's not rocket science. If you want to have a good relationship with time, have a good relationship with time. Not only will this help you create more time in your own life, but you'll stop being one of those rude people who constantly waste everyone else's. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. What do you find yourself doing instead of what you're supposed to be doing? Screwing around on Facebook or TikTok? Answering emails? Eating even though you're not hungry? Once you know what your favorite distractions are, you can build up a good defense against them. Turn off the internet and phone while you're working. Make the kitchen off limits until you're done if you constantly find yourself standing in front of the open refrigerator door in a stupor. We get into such bad habits that half the time we don't even realize what we're doing. Once you become aware of what your weak spots are, you can start to protect yourself against them. So, think about that. I know for myself, like, when I'm like, oh, I should create some videos, and I'll go on TikTok, and I'll just start scrolling, because I'm like, oh, let me see what's trending, right? Let's see what's popping up. But then I get sucked into the rabbit hole of TikTok. Yes, yes, sending Lindsay lots of love and hugs. Chris and I don't do yes-no questions in the morning. All right, chunk it down. There's nothing more deflating than looking at some giant task and wondering how you'll ever get it all done. So don't try to eat the whole elephant at once. Break it down into bite-sized bits. For example, instead of walking around your entire house from one catastrophically messy room to the next, wondering how you're ever going to clean the whole gigantic thing, and trying to figure out how you can justify not doing it instead of trying to figure out how you're going to do it, break it down and just focus on one room at a time. Our brains can only handle so much information at once without exploding. So by looking at each task separately, the larger task suddenly becomes more manageable, right? So we want to chunk everything down. We want to take the big project and break it down. I mean, it seems like common sense, but I know sometimes we don't do that because we're like, no, I need to get the whole thing done. Good morning, Maddie. Brains love chunks. Chunking it down works great for time too. For example, if you're working on designing a new website, instead of setting aside the entire day to work, decide that you'll work in hour-long chunks. During this time, you are unauthorized to get up to use the bathroom, get something to eat, check your texts, go online, etc. Once your 60 minutes is up, you can take a break and do whatever you want until your next 60-minute chunk. We can do anything for 60 minutes. Our brains go into overwhelm when we try to do it all in one big block of time. Okay, Maddie, sounds good. we love dreams. We love dream interpretations. Number 2, there's too much to do. Ever notice that whenever you ask someone how they're doing, about 99% of the time, they say something like, good, really busy, but good. Busy has become the new fine, thanks. I mean, where's the fun in that? What kind of message does that send out to the world and ourselves? No wonder we all feel like we're living pinned beneath a giant cement slab of a to-do list. So yes, the first task is to watch your mouth. Stop talking about how busy you are. Focus on what you enjoy about what you do in the spaces in between the doing instead of feeling weighed down by it all. Decide that you live in an awesome, relaxed life full of interesting projects that you love doing and communicate that to the world and yourself. And then go out and merrily do it. So, again, we want to watch what we're saying, right? And we want our actions to speak more than the words that we say, right? Because actions speak louder than words. We can sit here and say that we're busy and we're busy and we're busy, but really we're not. Get some help. If you're feeling totally confused and disorganized and don't know where to start or what to do next, get some outside perspective. A lot of times we're so tangled up in our own lives that we can't see something that's totally obvious to someone else. Ever spend some quality time searching for your glasses when they're sitting right on top of your head? I know I have. Or looking for my cell phone when I'm like on the phone. I'm like, I can't find my cell phone. Done that before. It's sort of like that. You could spend hours or days or months or forever trying to figure out how to redo your website or plotting out an exercise regimen or figuring out how to organize your office when someone who isn't buried alive by all the moving parts as you are can nail it down right away. Call a friend and have them clean or work with you. Yes. Get a new pair of eyeballs on the situation. And get someone who knows what they're doing, please. Don't get money advice from someone who's as broke as you are, or dating advice from the terminally single, or decide that someone's main qualification for helping you is that they'll do it for free or trade. Working with a pro will save you time and money in the long run because you won't have to spend time undoing or doing over whatever your wimpy first attempt was. Hire a business coach. Ask a friend who is totally together and successful to sit with you. Hire a clutter consultant. And if none of this makes sense for your particular situation, read on, right? It's an investment. Yes, it costs money, right? But in the long run, it costs you less time and you get results faster instead of trying to figure it out by yourself. Yes, it's an investment. And yes, sometimes we can't do that. But just like Brittany said, we call a friend, right? If we need help cleaning, call a friend and have them come over and tackle it together. Good morning, Whiskey. Get into reality. Sometimes we take on more than we can chew because we think we have to do it all. or that the world will fall apart if we don't do everything, or that we are bad, unlovable people if we don't do the 8 million things we're trying to do. So get very real with yourself here. Why are you doing all the things that you're doing? Is it absolutely necessary that you do it all? Do you need to do it all at the same time? Can some of it wait? Be handed off to someone else? Dropped altogether? And if you must do it all, what would make it more enjoyable? Just like chunking down your time, chunking down your tasks takes you out of freak out and puts things into manageable bite-sized pieces. Here's how to break it down. Make your to-do list and look at it. What needs to happen right now? What can wait? Put these on two separate lists. Hide the wait list. What are the big important tasks on the now list? What are the little piddly ones? I love a good to-do list too. Give the piddly ones to someone else or save them for off hours and spend the day doing the most important tasks. It's called prioritizing, people. The shorter the list you're working with, the better you'll feel. And remember, you're never going to get it all done, so stop stressing about it. I get to make two to-do lists. Do what you can do in joy instead of trying to do it all in misery. Delegate or die. One of the best ways to lighten your load is to stop being a control freak and or a tightwad and hire someone to help you or delegate to those around you. See below. You absolutely cannot grow a business, get promoted, or be a cool parent, and you absolutely will go gray before your time if you try to do every single little thing by yourself. First thing to do, list number 1, to make to-do list number 2. Delegation has always been a problem of mine. Yeah, exactly. There's another call out, right? Because I'm like, because we can't be like, you need to do this now, right? Because sometimes they can't. But you're like, I have to wait? No, I need that done right now. Like, but that's part of letting go of the control. Knowing that if you ask your child, for instance, to load the dishwasher, yes, there are things that you should reorganize. Obviously, if they're putting things on the lower shelf that belong on the top shelf, right? We don't want to ruin our dishes or anything. But, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go in and resort things, right? It's fine. It'll get washed. I hate waiting. And they won't do it the way exactly. But we have to, like, that's part of letting go and being okay, right? Because it still gets done. It might not be the way you would have done it. My problem is when I delegate, it never gets done. That's also a story we tell, right, Indigo? So we need to start telling a different story. I delegate easily and it gets done. I don't have to worry about it. Once I delegate, everything's taken care of. Right? I can really release it. So we want to make sure that we notice what we're saying too. Because I get it, because that's a pattern and that's a belief and that's something that's been shown to us, right? But it's also a belief of ours that if we give it to somebody else, they're not going to do it. Yeah, we need to set those boundaries. I'm giving this to you and you're going to do it. Well, yeah, I mean, that's one way for sure. Like, absolutely. Because I think too, with what Indigo's saying, like, I know for myself in the control freak that I am, because I'll be like, I really need you to do this for me. Can you please take this off my hands? And like this has happened a lot of times, like even with just the weekly garbage takeout. I'm like, can you take the garbage out? For weeks, I was waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh shit, it didn't get taken out, right? But now I'm like, you know, like I'll say, hey, don't forget it's garbage night. And it gets taken out now. Because it was the same thing. Because I'm like, I'm going to ask him to do it and he's not going to do it, right? I'm going to end up having to wake up early and make sure that it's out and, you know, half asleep, dragging garbage out to the curb. Yeah, no, I get it. I definitely understand, Indigo. But I've had to, that's again one of those trust things. Like, nope. I asked, they said yes, it'll be done. So, now there have been times where I've slept back and like this week and I took it out just because I'm like, no, I'm up and around. I'm just going to take it out. He would be awake every time I had to take the garbage out, right? Well, that's if he was home. But yeah, so it's just one of those things that it does take time. That's the petty side. Oh, trust me. You know I have my petty side too, and I've done stuff like that. And then it's just like, Jesus Christ. You always had to take the garbage out. I don't mind, but like, at the same time, I'm like, okay, like, just one thing. Just do this one thing, right? So now it's just like, things are changing because my perspective's changed too. So, all right. Figure out which tasks you hate doing or have always been bad at or just don't have time to do and find someone else to do them. I realize the reason you may not have done this yet is because you can't afford to hire someone, or because you think you're the best at it, or because you're a control freak. But like many other excuses, the answer is often there. You're just not looking at it properly. If you absolutely had to get some help, if it was a matter of life and death, what would you do? Cleaning the toilet, I get Percy to do it. He does it for cheap. Yes. You could get an intern from your local college. You could get a family or friend to help you out. You could hire someone just for 30 minutes a week and increase as you go. You could sell something to bring in the money to pay someone, or borrow it, or push yourself to make it. You could hand it over to human resources and make it their problem. You could ask your husband to empty the dishwasher and get your teenager to clean out the garage so you have more time. I need an intern, right? Help is always around us. Sometimes receiving it is simply a matter of looking at it differently or not giving it up so easily. Deciding that you can't have something you need or want is instantly cut you off from the flow of manifesting it, as well as distances you from the part that lit you up about it in the first place. Once you think, I can't, the universe is like, alrighty then, no assistance needed here. See you later. Even if you have no idea where it's going to come from, stay open to the possibility of support presenting itself, and you may be surprised by what you can create and how much help you can get. Decide you must have it. Trust that it's available to you. Do everything you can to figure out a way to make it happen, and trust that how it's going to happen will be revealed. Again, that's what we talk about all the time on this channel, right? We don't control the house. We can't control the house. If we try to control the house, that's how we put it off, right? We just have to trust that it's going to show up somehow, some way. And it will be revealed. But we have to trust that now we do have help. People do help us, right? Whether it's our husbands or our partners or our children, right? They happily help. They, just like Brittany was saying, she doesn't like to clean toilets, so her son does it, right? And he does it for cheap. You know, he earns money that way. That's one less thing she has to worry about, one less thing she doesn't like doing. So, I mean, there's always that. Help financially, right? Maybe you need help with something, right? Or you want to make more money. Trust that you already are, and allow it to come whatever way it wants to, right? However the universe wants it to. It's not going to come always the way we think it should or the way we think it will. And it's one less dollar I have to spend on Pokemon cards. Exactly. Win-win. Win-win. Remember that you are number one. And before I read this, I just have to laugh because this is something that my father embedded in all of us children. I remember being 3, 4, 5, and up. And my dad used to yell at all of us kids and say, who's number one? And we all had to yell like at the top of our lungs that we were. I am. I am. Seems really silly, right? And when I look back, it felt like really weird. But it is something that has helped me in many different ways as well. Did I always feel like I would be number one? No. I was not always number one in everything. But it is something that was embedded in my dad. I'll still be talking to my dad on the phone, and I'll say something about like struggling, and he'd be like, but who's number one? Right? So it does. It really does help boost the confidence. When I got to become a teenager in early 20s, like, I'm like, Dad, come on, that's so stupid, right? But as I get older, too, like, I see it. I see the importance of it, right? Put your priorities first. Don't check emails or voice messages or Facebook until you've gotten into your day and accomplished some of your tasks you want to do. Don't answer the phone or text while you're busy. Other people's needs can occupy several lifetimes worth of your attention, and if you let them, they will. So put yourself first, right? So if there's something that you want to work on and your friend's messaging you, you don't have to reply right away, right? You don't have to respond right away, right? We have to take care of our needs and our responsibilities, right? I know for myself, especially, I work from home. I'm the one who delegates my time. I'm the one who determines what I need to do. I can easily get sucked into, messages, and I do. I'm guilty of it. But I have noticed too when I'm like, okay, no, I need to focus on this. I need to work on the website, or I need to work on Discord, or I'm working on ideas, right? I will not answer messages because I'll come back to it and I'll catch up. And because if I was working for somebody else, if I was on the clock for somebody else where they didn't allow me to have my cell phone, I wouldn't answer it, right? So I've put that in my head too. Like, no, if I have given respect to somebody else who I worked for, why can't I give myself that same respect, right? And because this is the business I'm building. If you can't help yourself, how the hell are you going to help anyone else? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's a good motto to have. And that's what we talk about. Brittany, you tell people all the time too. You can't fill up somebody else's cup if yours is empty. Right? So we have to fill our cup first. And so we need to do that and take care of ourselves so we can help others. Oh, you're fine, Lindsay. You're all right. Number 3, I'm exhausted. The belief that taking time off will cause your entire life to collapse is not only unhealthy, but it's arrogant. The world will go on if you stop working, you see. If you don't take time off, your body will eventually put its foot down and make you sick. Bodies do it all the time. Stress is a leading cause of cancer, heart attacks, liver failure, stupid accidents, grouchiness, and suddenly not being able to breathe. Exactly. Taking the time and just resting and, detaching and releasing, right, is good for you. You don't have to constantly be doing something, right? You work all week. It's okay for you to take a day and just be. Yeah, stress makes you sick all the time. Gives you anxiety attacks, panic attacks, right? Makes your immune system get weak, and next thing you know, you got the cold or a flu, or whatever else is going around. Aside from the sickness factor, making time to do things that inspire you should also be a priority, because what's the point of living without them? I say this all the time. You have to take time to do things that fill you up, that you enjoy, that make life worth living. Because if you're constantly just working, we didn't come here to live, pay taxes, and die. We came to have an experience, right? So don't be pushing yourself and working yourself to the bone without enjoying your day, each day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, right? You need to find enjoyment in each day. Otherwise, what the fuck's the point? Where's the fun in waking up at 85 and realizing you couldn't find the time to enjoy yourself? What were you doing that was more important instead? This is not a luxury reserved for people who are richer, smarter, or less bogged down than you are. It's a luxury reserved for people who take the time to figure it out and choose to design a more fun-filled life. Use the tools in this chapter to make the time to get the rest you need and have the fun you want, so you can enjoy your precious life while you're still in possession of it. Number 4, love yourself. You're doing an awesome job. So that is the drama of the overwhelm. Taking our time and prioritizing our time, right? We want to make sure that we're taking time, setting, time aside, no distractions, getting the things done that we need to get done. Make sure we're taking time to have fun and have experiences, right? Putting ourselves first, right? Take care of our needs, take care of what we need to do. We want to watch what we're saying. We want to, we want to watch how we're like, oh, I can't do that, right? I don't have time for that. Do we not have time for that, or do we just not want to do that? Is that something that we can hand off, right? Stop taking on so much. Doing my best, but things somehow keep coming up. That's a little stressful. Yeah. Yeah, the chunk mindset is a good one to be reminded of, right? Because we look at the project overall, and it feels very overwhelming. So remembering to chunk it down into small pieces. And what's the priority and what can wait till later, right? Making those lists, chunking down, even the delegation too, like knowing that we can give some things off to other people too. Know what your distractions are, right? When you start out on a project, right? Or could be cleaning, could be budgeting, or creating. Notice where you get distracted. What's your distractions, right? Are you getting up to get something to eat? Are you checking Facebook? Are you checking your messages? Are you answering emails? Like, turn off your phone if you can, or do not disturb, or whatever, and put the focus on what you want. You're gonna see more production from yourself by doing that, instead of, oh, I spent 8 hours and I got barely anything done. However, if you would have turned off all distractions and spent an hour, you probably would have gotten more done than you did in those 8 hours. Even in delegation, making those chunks smaller for those. Yeah, exactly. Oh, whiskey. man. Get a flex disc. So I would say today, let's really take an effort and see where we're allowing distractions to come through, where we're allowing and we're not allowing delegation to happen, where we're feeling like we have to keep control. What else do you guys think about that chapter? Do you want me to go on to the next one? Let me see how big it is. I mean, it's a little bit big too. If you wanted to go on to the next chapter, just let me know. I have about an hour or two. Now I'm trying to find a way to get whiskey. Oh, man. I don't know. Stuff like that doesn't stop me. Good morning, Morgan. How are you? He doesn't have to say a word. He doesn't have to say a word, Whiskey. I'm doing well. Exactly. You gotta look at it from a different perspective. The next chapter is called Fear is for Suckers. If you guys were interested in moving forward in that. Exactly. Exactly. If there is a will, there is a way. No distractions. We got a yes from Lindsay. Nope. We don't. Nope. Nope. Whiskey. Nope. The universe doesn't do that. It might test us, but it doesn't give us the big FU. Awesome. Good morning, Narita. Let's double down today. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it tests us. Absolutely. All right. You canceled your job? Whoa. We're happy to have you in here, Narita. I feel like I'm winning the double down bet. Yes. All right. So fear is for suckers. Sucker! All right. We tiptoe through life hoping to safely make it to death. Ouch. How's that? That's a little slap in the face, right? Because we're always playing it safe. For what? The destination's the same. We don't know when that's happening, right? Tiptoe. Yes, we tiptoe through life like hoping to safely make it to death. All right. So she says, when I lived in New Mexico, a friend of mine took me to this cave she heard about up in Jemez Mountains. It's more like a big hole in the ground, actually, she said, but I hear it's pretty cool. She didn't do a good job of selling it, especially when she got to the part about how we'd have to crawl around on all fours the whole time. But I wasn't really listening to her anyway. Caves don't interest me, no matter what size they are. I was only going for the road trip and the hike through the mountains and this great burger place that I discovered the last time I was up there. The cave was just a necessary part of the trip, like stopping for gas. After a glorious drive Sorry. I know that's always loud. And it has a burger place, exactly. After a glorious drive beneath the endless New Mexico sky and a beautiful hike on a red dirt path through a pinon pine forest, we got to the cave. Yeah, that's a way to get you awake. It was just as she described, a little hole at the base of a small hill, just big enough to crawl through. My friend tossed me a pair of knee pads and a flashlight and headed in. I followed her on my hands and knees, holding my flashlight with my teeth, and by the time we were about 10 minutes in, I felt like the entrance and my chances of ever seeing another burger again had vanished. If anything came at us from inside the cave, like, say, a monster, or if there was a flash flood or an earthquake or a rattlesnake or a mosquito, we were totally screwed. This craggy white rock tunnel surrounding us had closed in so tightly that when my friend finally stopped crawling and leaned against the wall to sit, she had to do so with her head bent so far forward it looked like she was about to start chewing on her neck. What the hell was I doing there again? Okay, now for the cool part. You ready? She asked. Turn off your light. She clicked off her flashlight after motioning for me to do the same. The instant my light went out, I experienced the most absolute darkest darkness of beyond pitch black holy fucking shit, deepest darkest blackness ever. I felt the tickling of hysteria begin to worm its way up the back of my neck. And for the first time in my life, I completely understood fear. Because fear was the only thing I could see in that hole. It sat there, omnipresent, gigantic, all-consuming, staring me straight in the face, asking, "So you're going to let me swallow you up, or what?" Talk about claustrophobia. I realized that with absolutely zero effort, I could unravel into a claustrophobic freak out of such scratching, biting, high-pitched, crazy lady screaming colossalness that it would leave both me and my friends staring at a wall, playing with our lips for weeks after they dragged our limped and bloodied bodies out of this cave. Or not. The choice was mine. To fear or not to fear? That is the question. I'm pleased to report that I decided to forego the fear frenzy in favor of calmly combing back out of the cave to the land of sunshine, open spaces, and walking on two legs. That's where my mind is. I'm scared of what could be in the dark. Yes. I emerged with not only an alarming amount of sand in my ears and severe lockjaw from cracking the flashlight with my teeth, but with a new and profound understanding of the choice aspect of fear. Yeah, oh, so many times to have had this experience, right? We experience this every day, right? But this is the extreme. We always have the choice whether to fall into fear or to calm. Yeah. Yeah, we'll always be by your side. Always. It's so simple. Fear will always be there, poised and ready to wreak havoc. But we can choose whether we're going to engage with it or turn on the lights, drown it out, and crawl past it. I also realize that drowning it out is actually pretty easy. We've just been conditioned to believe otherwise. Or what if? Well, fear is what if. Faith is even if. Lindsay has she brought us that quote last year, and we say it all the time in here. Fear is what if, and faith is even if. We've made being in fear a habit. We're pumped full of it as children, like sugar. Then as we grow, we continue to take it in, the bad news on TV and the horror in the papers and the violence in the books and films and video games and all this junk that fills us to the brim with fear about our world. We're taught to play it safe and not take risks, and to caution everyone around us to follow suit. And it's become such an accepted part of our social conditioning that we don't even realize we're doing it. For example, what would your immediate response be to someone you really loved and deeply cared about if they said, while sputtering with excitement, any of the following things to you? I'm taking out a gigantic loan to build my dream business. I'm going to travel around the world for a year by myself. I'm quitting my secure full-time job to become an actor. I met the most incredible person last week and I'm totally in love and we're getting married. I think I just burned my taste buds off with this coffee. Oh no! I'm going skydiving. Gigantic loan terrifies me. That's a great start. So that to me says that there's a fear of money there, or a fear of lack of money. And I don't know if you were in the one live I was talking about it, about how we feel about money. I don't know if you were, because we were talking, I think I was talking with Tony about that, right? How do we feel about money? Do we hate money? Do we loathe money? Are we scared of money? Are we scared of the lack of money not coming back? Right? So, yeah, I don't like the fact of owing money back. Absolutely, I get that. But at the same time, it's an investment, too, in certain situations. But sometimes I think the fear is not having it, right? The fear of owing it back because you're afraid that you're not going to be able to make the payments. So that's a fear of not having enough. That's why I don't make payments on a car. Good morning, Spirit Rebel. How are you? Yeah, so when we have that fear of not having enough money, when we have money, we're like, we got that death grip on it. Like, I don't want to let it go because I'm not going to get any more, right? And that's like a relationship with a person. Like, oh, I got you. You can't leave. You can't do anything. You're all mine. It's suffocating, right? So we want to kind of look at money like it is a person too and treat it as such. The way you treat money, if that were a person, would they want to be around you? Would they want to? If you were so afraid of losing them that you kept this death grip on them, do you think that they would really want to be around you? If you're afraid to spend it because you're afraid it's not going to come back, right? Same thing. You're afraid to let them go out with their friends because you're afraid they're going to find something better, right? And so that's fear, that's insecurity. So look at money as if it were a person and treat it accordingly, right? It puts it in a totally different perspective. I get rid of it so quickly they won't be able to be around me. Like, go away. Just go. Go. But it's interesting when you look at it from that perspective, right? That fear of money, whether it's having it, saving it, spending it, loathing it, loving it. Like, we want to love it. We want to love it as if it were our friend. We want to treat it like it's our best friend, right? We want to be able to celebrate with it, right? And not be afraid to let it go do its thing, right? Knowing that it's going to come back. For the most part, when we watch someone take a leap of faith, our first reaction is to scream, "Look out!" We've not only made a habit out of smearing our fear and worry and doubt all over each other, but we pat ourselves on the backs for it because we believe that it shows how much we care. That's something worth being scared of, if you ask me. There's something called the crab effect. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl, and if, while they're in there crawling all over each other, one of them tries to climb out, the rest of them will try to pull him back down instead of helping to push him out. No wonder they're called crabs. When I get paid, I see it one day and with all bills. Yeah. So many people have done that to me the past 6 months. Yes. Yep. Imagine how different our world would be if we were less crab-like. If we were not only taught to really truly believe in miracles, yes, I realize how dorky that sounds, but we're rewarded and supported instead of cautioned and screamed at for taking huge leaps into the unknown. We give a lot of lip service to the idea that anything is possible, and we all grow up with the posters of kittens and baby seals on our walls that say follow your dreams on them. But should you actually do something radical, all the flashing lights and sirens go off. Know what I'm saying? I'm a Cancer. I'm supposed to be crab-like. Fear lives in the future. The feeling of being afraid is real. But the fear itself is made up because it hasn't even happened yet. Death, going bankrupt, breaking a leg, forgetting our lines, getting yelled at for being late, being rejected, etc. Most of the time we have no guarantee that what we fear is going to even happen. And that if it does, that it's going to be scary. Take death, for example. For all we know, we leave our bodies and melt into a state of pure love and light and sparkly things and unicorns and bunnies, eternal orgasmic giddiness. We can be as sure of that as we can about anything else in the future. So why create all the drama? All it takes to turn the fear factor around is learning to be comfortable in, instead of terrified of, the unknown. And this is done through faith. It basically comes down to how you choose to go through life. Is your fear greater than your faith in the unknown and yourself? Or is your faith in the unknown and yourself greater than your fear? While you're making your choice, here's a mouthful from good old Helen Keller. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces towards change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. Helen Keller. There's that incredible moment when you decide, screw it, I'm going for it. And suddenly the thrill overtakes the fear. And then you're flying on the magic carpet. You're signing on the dotted line to buy that house. Confronting your father, sliding the ring onto the finger, stepping in onto the stage in front of thousands. I mean, talk about feeling alive. On the other hand, on the other side of your fear is your freedom. Here are some helpful ways to navigate your way through the jungle of fear. Number 1, view fear from your rear view mirror. Think about some radical thing you did in the past that literally gave you the shakes. It was so big and scary. And now look back on it. How terrifying is it now? Can you conjure up any scary feeling about it? Even a wincy twinge of fear? Keep this in mind as you face each new challenge. No matter how intimidating your next great leap forward seems at the moment, it will be a pipsqueak when you look back on it someday. So why wait? Why not look at it through pipsqueak colored glasses right now? Envision your challenge from the future. Look back on them from a place of victory, and they will lose much of their power to paralyze you. And I talk about this when we talk about the remember when hack manifestation, right? When you're having a hard time envisioning and getting into the state of what you want and being that person who has what you want, say, I remember when I was scared of this, or I remember when I was struggling, because then you're starting to imagine yourself as successful, as overcoming it. Yeah, I love remember when too, because when you have a hard time envisioning what it is that you truly want, but you have an idea, right? We can look back and we can say, I remember when I struggled with this. I remember when I was struggling to pay my bills. I remember when I was struggling to make my mortgage payment, or whatever it is, right? Because everything is good, right? Because you aren't struggling anymore. You're successful. You have what you want. I remember when I struggled with my relationship. I remember when, communication was difficult, right? Because now it's not. Now we communicate well. I remember when I struggled with the feeling of being loved, because now I do feel love, right? So I remember when it's a great tool to kind of help you manifest, right? When you're really struggling. Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was worried about my silly money issues, right? Because what seemed so big and so scary back then is, it's a drop in the bucket now. I always use my first trip to India as an example when I'm being a weenie about something that scares me. It was one of my very first international solo trips. And even though my experience with anything Indian up to that point pretty much consisted of a couple Ravi Shankar CDs and some chicken tikka masala, I thought it would be such a cool place to see. I wanted to go somewhere totally new. Now that song's in my head, right? Experience a reality that was different from my own as possible. I thought going to India would be like going through the looking glass. Yeah, we're all about song and music in here. So I buy my ticket and then it hits me. What the hell am I trying to prove? Why am I doing this? I'd never gone anywhere that far away by myself before, where I knew no one, didn't speak the language, had no idea what to expect, and I swear I built it up to become one of those most terrifying things I ever did in my life. Because I imagined myself as this tiny little dot, all the way on the other side of the globe, floating around in space, where I was utterly anonymous, a ghost, a stranger, where I could disappear without a trace and nobody I loved would have any idea what happened to me. Poof. It got so bad that I started fantasizing about seriously injuring myself or that my best friend would die so I wouldn't have to go. For some reason, just canceling my ticket never entered my mind. Because you want us all to go to India and party at every wedding. Yes! As luck would have it, however, nobody died, and I found myself being driven to the airport like I was going to my own funeral. The moment I stepped into the international terminal at the airport, however, I was swept up in a sea of colors and people from all over the world and movement and languages, and my terror was instantly bulldozed by excitement. I'm going to freaking India. When I got on the plane, I sat next to this gorgeous Indian woman wearing a pink sari or saree, and huge gold earrings, who turned to me, smiled, and offered me an M&M. And that's when it really sank in. You're not alone, ding dong. You're surrounded by people. And one of the most basic common human needs is connection. I then proceeded to spend 2 months traveling around a country that is now by far one of my favorite places on this planet, and that sparked in me a love for travel that has completely changed my life. This and other examples from my own life keep proving to me over and over that our greatest fears are the greatest wastes of time. Face your fears with truth, that they are all in your mind and they will lose their power over you. Number 2, flip the fear. When you find yourself letting fear push you around, look at it from a different perspective. Start by breaking it down, finding what it is that you're really afraid of, and then flipping it around to make it work for you, not against you. Show it who's boss. Feed your fear a suck it sandwich. I like that. For example, I want to write a book, but can't get myself to sit down and do it. Why not? And this is what I talk to you guys about. Always asking the why questions and what. Like what, let's get down to the bottom of it. I'm scared that if I do it, it will be terrible. What happens if it's terrible? If it's terrible, I'll look stupid. Then what? People will make fun of me. Then what? I'll feel ashamed. Oh, here I thought you meant flip off fear. Well, that too. Okay. So you're not writing a book in order to protect yourself from feeling stupid and ashamed. Thank you for sharing the live. Now flip it. How stupid and ashamed will you feel if you don't write your book? Very. I know it's a brilliant idea, and it's a big dream of mine. So will your strategy of not writing it in order to protect yourself from feeling stupid and ashamed protect you from feeling stupid and ashamed? No. And since you're risking feeling stupid and ashamed either way, which version is worse? Trying to write it and having it be terrible, or never going for it and living an unlived life of mediocrity, wimpiness, and shame? Living an unalived life of mediocrity, wimpiness, and shame. Right? So again, we ask ourselves, what am I scared of? Okay. What's the worst that can happen? The one I get to tell about how I was stupid and ashamed to help other people. Yes. Yes. Right? I don't feel like I'm good enough. Right? I feel like I'll fail. I feel like people will think I'm a joke. Right? But at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you still may feel like you're a joke because here's this big dream that you want to aspire to and you're taking no action. This hits home, right? This book is amazing. Break it down so you can really look at it and diffuse what it is about a situation that is scaring you. Fear is all about how you choose to look at things. So by changing your perspective on it, you can let the fear of not doing the thing you're scared of fuel your quest to greatness. I feel like I'll throw up in front of him. My fear and nerves are strong. Yes, this book has called me out on so many different things too. Number 3, be in the moment. Is anything scary happening to you right now at this very moment? Right now, where you're sitting, is anything bad actually happening? Or is it just the thoughts in your head that are freaking you out? This is for whiskey. You deplete the much needed energy you need to kick ass by freaking out before something ever happens. Yeah, on the call outs. Instead, stay in the moment and connect to your higher self. If you're about to walk into the courtroom or jump out of a plane or ask for a raise, breathe into the moment and stay connected to source energy. Keep your frequency high and your belief in miracles strong instead of falling prey to the fears in your mind. And you'll find that not only are you much better equipped to deal with whatever situation it is that you're headed for, but that 9 times out of 10, it's much scarier in your mind than it is in reality. Number 4, cut off the stream of crap. Be more conscious of the information you absorb. What blogs do you read? What shows do you watch? What books do you read? What stories do you read in the paper? What movies do you go to? Whose opinion do you ask? What do you focus on in your day-to-day life? This isn't about being in denial or out of touch with what's going on in the world. It's about how much of this information you really need. Are you staring at a car accident, or are you gathering information that will allow you to contribute to positive change? Well, and think about that though. There's still suspense, there's still fear in a lot of that, especially in horror, right? There's a lot of fear. So you have to pay attention, and this equates to the people that you surround yourself with, right? If you're surrounded by negative Nellies and you're surrounded by fear-filled people, you're never going to move. I watch crime a lot, but crime gives exactly. So you're taking in all this fear. You're keeping yourself stuck, right? Because it's a scary big world out there. I could walk down the street and get mugged, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have entertainment, but be aware of everything that you allow in your energy. Wallowing in pain and suffering isn't going to help anyone, yourself included, any more than starving yourself will help the hungry. If you want to help the world and yourself, keep your frequency high and do your work from a place of power and joy. It's a great book. You can even check your local library for it. I got it off Thrift Books. I don't even think I paid like $5 for it, to be honest with you. Don't think of anything upsetting in bed at night. This is difficult because I know so many people in here are overanalyzers and they really overthink while they're laying in bed. Our minds turn into gigantic magnifying glasses that make all of our fears 100% bigger when we're lying there as a captive audience at 3 a.m. in bed with nothing to distract us. Unless you're going to get out of bed right then and there and take some sort of action, don't waste your precious time thinking about your problems. Every time you do this, it is never as bad the next morning when you get up. You know this, and yet, use your meditative powers to move troubling thoughts out of your mind. Focus on relaxing every single muscle in your body, one by one, slowly and intentionally, so that it takes up all the room in your brain that you were using to freak out with. Breathe deeply and think about all the incredible things in your life. Listen to a guided meditation. Do whatever you can to get a good night's sleep and deal with whatever it is in the morning. Because the only thing worse than staying up all night freaking out about something is then being too exhausted the next day to deal with it either. That's the one thing I'm struggling with, is not overthinking the bad and the last hurt. It is a cycle because I feel worse later. Yeah. And number 6, love yourself and you will be invincible. So that's that. Overthinking is hard, but I've learned that sometimes I think of the bad and move on to how I can make it better and let my brain go. Oh, that's good too. But I get what she's saying too, unless you're going to actually get up and do something about it, or, I mean, if you're writing these things down, that's a good thing. But sometimes it's just a whole lot of wasted time, right? It's that fear and anxiety of, and you're making, you, most of the time, I'm not saying you, Brittany, but like when we're laying in bed and we're thinking of all the problems, we're making it worse than it needs to be. We're imagining things worse than what they'll ever could be. Yeah, and it's normal. It's what we're conditioned to do. A lot of us are over analytical. I started doing the guided meditation or frequency baths while going to bed and sleep. Yes. One channel I love on YouTube for guided meditation is John Moyer. I talk about him a lot. I don't like being normal. Nobody likes to be normal. You don't have to be normal. Good morning, Laura. How are you? But I'd like John Moyer for sleep guided meditation. He's really good. I like his voice. Coffee. I don't know how to stop it, so I listen to affirmations and frequency at night. That's good. So you're doing something about it. He redid some of his old ones recently. Nice. I haven't listened to many guided meditations for sleep recently. I really need to get back into that. But yeah, because I see myself taking forever to unwind, especially after doing lives at night, which is normal for me because I have to get rid of all that energy that I exchange. I've been receiving Reiki every day. That's amazing. Good job. Oh, nice. How do you start doing guided meditations at night? Go to YouTube, type in John Moyer, and he has a whole list of videos. And you can do sleep guided meditations. I think some of them are like, there's some that are like 3 hours, but then there are some that are 8, and I think some that might even, well, not his, but there are other ones that are like 11 hours. And you just let it play while you sleep. And it helps, like, because your subconscious is always working. It's always running. So when you have that noise in the background, it helps to rewire. That's good, whiskey. Oh, that would be awesome. I like that idea, Brittany. So yeah, so we wanna really pay attention to how much attention and worry that we're giving to fear. How can we flip it? How can we make it work for us? And most importantly, how can we release the fear, right? Especially when we can't do anything about it, right? When we're going to bed at night, we don't want to sit there and let all of the world's problem play in our head. I like it. Guided meditations do help with the stress. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a wake-up call to see just how much we do give in to fear, how much we do play our fears. I definitely say, Narita, check them out. Let it play while you sleep. Give it some time. Do it for 21 days at least, right? They say that's how you develop a habit, is 21 days. But I say, I mean, once you get in the habit of doing it, continue, right? See how you feel differently. And listen to it before you fall asleep, okay? Follow his instructions with the breathing and everything like that. And you're gonna see a difference. It does. It works well. And if you have to, you can get like a headband, right? So, and with the ear pieces there, right at your ears. If that works. I know that's not always comfortable for everybody, but I just let my phone play. And, I have the speaker, which my husband does not enjoy, but, whatever. John Moyer. I have sleep videos with sound baths, chakras. I am affirmations and different hertz frequency. Yeah. And those are great, especially if you really, because there's some nights where I'm like, I don't want to hear anybody's voice. And I'll play those. Um, because there's been times where I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm just like, I've been freaked out to hear somebody's voice. I don't know why. So I'll just listen to music or whatever, but but I do like the guided meditations. Yeah, everything's gonna work out, whiskey, and And even if it's not going the way you think it should or would, right? Because there's a lot of times where we're trying to control the hows and we don't realize it, right? You just have to go to the end. Imagine after he is left and experiencing all the love and joy that you guys had exchanged. Sometimes hearing someone's talk is not helpful. Yeah, I agree. There's just some days where I can't I just can't listen to another person. I don't know why. You're welcome. I love him. He has a great voice, and I've had a lot of success with a lot of his guided meditations. We all kind of do the shutdown, Narita, and I mean that's not unusual. Or my other one that throws me is there's a piano in it. Oh gosh, yeah, piano would be. Um, yeah, that's definitely not one thing I usually hear. The sound baths are amazing though. Yeah, writing is a good tool to kind of get your feelings out. And then you see it in black and white of what you're really thinking and feeling, and then you can adjust, right? If you're writing like I feel so lost and alone, then you can write instead I feel loved and surrounded by others who care about me. Hello, Ginger. Yep, you can write it and burn it. Yep. But those are all good things. If you write how you're feeling, and you can really see where your negative thoughts are, you can see what you're really giving attention to, and then flip it, change it, right? Turn it into an affirmation to kind of help we rewire your subconscious too, right? When we sit there and we say, oh, I feel broke. No, I feel wealthy. I feel, taken care of. I feel, whatever, I feel lost and I feel alone. No, I feel, content and complete. I feel whole and complete. And I'm surrounded by others who genuinely care for me. So, I mean, that's always a good thing to practice, especially when we're in our fields and we're not sure exactly what's going on. Just take a piece of paper and pen and write. Just let it all flow. Don't even try to force anything, right? You can even just write, like, how am I feeling right now? And then go, right? Set a timer if you want to and just write whatever comes through your head. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to even form a sentence, right? It could just be one word. It could be several different words. And it'll show you where your mind is, where you're putting your energy. And then you have to become aware and change it. It's one thing to notice. It's another to actively change it. And there's many different ways to do that. Holy moly, it's almost 9:45. Yeah, even doodles help. Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes what you're drawing is some sort of language too, whether you realize it or not. But it's that energy too. Like even if you're doodling but you're feeling sad or you're feeling angry and you see the drawing and how maybe if it's anger and you see how it looks mad and then you can be like, wow, I didn't realize I was that frustrated or that angry. And then you can kind of go, okay, why am I angry? What's triggering the anger? And keep going with the questions. think we only have like 6 more chapters of this book. We're going on chapter 21 tomorrow. And there's 27 chapters. Guys, we can have this done by the end of the week. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in, Humbled. I think my fear of my relationship ending actually manifests starting into fruition. How do I fix? Well, there's different things. Like, you need to focus on what you want instead. Okay? Instead of putting your energy and your imagination to use into what you don't want, you have to start putting it into what you do want. What does it look like? How do you feel? Right? You can write all this down too if you like. But you have to shift into a person who has the relationship that you desire, and not stay in the person who is losing the relationship, or the one who doesn't feel as if they're loved and appreciated. You're in a state of where you feel like you're not worthy of the relationship. You need to shift into the state of a person who has a fulfilling relationship, feeling loved and desired, or whatever it is that you're seeking. And then, when the fear pops up, that means you're out of state, that you're back into the fearful state. And we want to shift back into that knowing state that you are loved and adored and cherished. Yep, I do. I have uploaded all of the lives that we have done with this book so far that started at the beginning of the month. It's not just being mindful. Okay, mindful is a good word, but it's being aware. Okay, it's being aware of what the thoughts you're thinking, the feelings you're feeling, and the conversations that you're brewing inside of your head without even realizing it. If you're constantly worried about a fight or an argument coming, you're having that conversation in your head already because you're preparing for it. Therefore, you're imagining it. Therefore, you are manifesting it. So you need to become more aware of all of the things. It's not difficult. I know it sounds like a lot, but once you get in the habit, it's not difficult. It's the loving rebel. I'll put it on my link tree later today too, so that way I can just direct you guys to that. I thought it was on my it was in my profile, but I'll put it in my link tree. Yeah, exactly. Abandonment issues come from childhood, or it comes from teenage, or even abandonment issue can even come from something that happened to you yesterday, or last year. They come up, and that's where you have to address it, and you have to reassure yourself that you are good enough. And one of the things I like to say, an affirmation I like to say when it comes to abandonment issues is, I am whole and complete, and I am surrounded by those who genuinely care about me, and they don't leave. That implies that the people who are around you are there for you genuinely, and the ones who do leave aren't meant for you. Okay, so it reminds you that some people aren't for us, and that's okay. But the ones that are there. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm so full of it. I don't have a class on manifestation right now. I am trying to put together one, hopefully, for the beginning of the year. I'd like to do one that is, weekly for at least a month. And that will all depend, but I try to keep them affordable for everybody. But with the holidays and everything and all the other things I'm working on, I'm trying to pull so much together at once. I'm taking it one bite at a time. So, but that is on the back burner to have a course that we meet once a week and talk manifestation and work through that and have 4 weeks of it. So does anybody have any questions or anything else to add today from today's chapters? Yeah, one bite at a time. Exactly. Because I do. I have such big plans. Oh, I will. I'll be announcing it once I know for sure. There's a lot of things happening in the background. So I'm trying to, no, I am, focusing so much time each day on each project and working on it from there. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Aw, good. We're here most every morning at 8 a.m. during the week. I wasn't here yesterday because my kids were off, but I am usually here at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. If we go through at least a chapter of this book, we have open discussions. And so, it's become a pretty close-knit family here in the mornings. And I enjoy it, and it's always a good time. And what we're doing, the next book we're doing is from the same author. Good morning, Caroline. Is You Are a Badass at Making Money. I figure we'll continue on with that. She has a couple more books, and they are on my wish list too, that I hope to get for Christmas. And we might just do the series of all of her books. So, that is my plan. Central Time, so that would be 7 a.m. Central your time. So, I'm just an hour ahead. So yeah, so that's the plan. And like I said, you could probably even find these books. Like I found this one again, like I said, on thriftbooks.com. I think I bought like 5 books or something. I think I spent like $25 or something. You're welcome, Indigo. Thank you. In this inflation period, we could use all the money we can get, right? Exactly. So we're gonna create the life we want. We're gonna be financially wealthy. We're going to be stable. We're gonna go after our dreams. So today, face your fears, find out what fear holds you back, find out the distractions that keep you from doing the work you need to do. Limit those distractions, make your lists, right? What do you need to get done? What is a priority? What can wait? What is easy? What is, where do you really time to structure it out? You're not working. Oh, you completely quit. I thought when you said you canceled, you just meant today. Wow. Well, congratulations. It's already mine. The 3D in my mind just have to catch up. Yeah, exactly. I love it. You fit right in. All right, guys. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to go get ready for my day with my little sasshole, my 2-year-old niece, so she can tell me to leave. The kids are texting. Wow. Oh, no, only today and tomorrow. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you'll be with us tomorrow. Yes, everybody have a blessed day. Make the best of it. I love you guys, and I will see you. I will probably be on later tonight, So I will see you later. I hope you have an amazing day. Lots of love to you.